I think the great thing about the Huey was we did army support. That was carrying troops, carrying external loads, resupplying troops, and of course if anybody got into trouble it was the perfect medevac aircraft, and we were always ready to do that. I did not go to Vietnam. I almost went, but we pulled out of the war in August 71, and I was just completing my helicopter training at that stage. Well, I enjoyed all aspects of flying the Huey, but what was particularly rewarding was flying around Papua New Guinea. It was a great aeroplane to fly in New Guinea, although when you got to high altitude, you started to run out of performance. I'm Angus Houston. I served in the Royal Australian Air Force for over 41 years. I finished as Chief of Defence Force for 6 years. Well, I tried to join the Royal Air Force. I was rejected on the basis of my height. Well, when I came to Australia, I went onto the land for 2 years. The second year we had a very bad drought. I was share farming. I left the farm stony broke and went off to join the Royal Australian Air Force. Height wasn't a problem with the Royal Australian Air Force because when I checked what the height limit was, I was told 6'4". He got one of those little sticks, checked me out, and I didn't stand up rigidly straight. I slouched a little bit and I came in at 6'2½". So he said, "You should join." And I joined. What I had to do as Commanding Officer Number 9 Squadron is, number one, I had to introduce the Black Hawk to service. Once we had established a reasonable number of Black Hawks, we had to relocate the squadron from Amberley to Townsville, and then on St Valentine's Day 1989, which I always thought was a bit cruel, we transferred the capability from Air Force to Army. I was very lucky to fly Iroquois because the helicopter squadrons required teamwork. You got into that aircraft and everybody was important. And we always, when we deployed, we always took our maintenance with us, and they were other squadron members. At the time, other parts of the Air Force were operating flying squadrons separately from centralised maintenance squadrons. I had the great joy of learning to lead people in a military context right from the outset. The camaraderie, the teamwork, the way of working was magnificent. It was a team environment from top to bottom. I think the reseal, deseal maintenance program on the F-111 and the subsequent Board of Inquiry was a real wake-up call for Air Force. Day 3 or 4, as Chief of Air Force, I had a visit from the President of the Board of Inquiry, and he said, "Air Marshal, you have a problem. You have a culture that puts platforms before people." So from that moment on, I decided that there was a need to change our culture. My mantra became people first, people before platforms. The Chief of the Defence Force sits at the very top of the organisation. He provides the interface with government on all matters. Sometimes when things go wrong, the government can be extremely demanding of the CDF when things aren't running as smoothly as they might. And at the end of the day, you're leading a wonderful force of airmen, sailors and soldiers who, in my time, did a lot of operational service. The Air Force was very good to me right from the outset. It's got an amazing record, and when you look at all the things that we're doing at the moment, I think Sir Richard Williams, our forebears, would be very, very proud of a very capable fifth generation Air Force. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again.